The Oshodi underbridge buzzed with life that morning, noisy buses honking, traders screaming prices, and pedestrians rushing in every direction. But all that noise fell into silence, like someone pressed a mute button, the moment Anderson Okonkwo stepped out of his black Bentley. Everyone turned. A billionaire in a sharp navy blue suit, his shoes glistening, stepped out onto the dirt path, not into a boardroom or hotel lobby, but toward a girl in a filthy gown, sitting beside a refuse dump. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. Her skin had dulled, her hair matted, and her once beautiful eyes stared blankly into space. Her name was Amara, and for the past year, this underbridge had been her home. People whispered, "Is that not Chief Anderson? Anderson Okonkwo, the one from TV? What's he doing here?" Some laughed nervously, others pulled out their phones to record, but no one, not a single soul, expected what happened next. Anderson walked straight to Amara and knelt. The dirt stained his suit trousers. He didn't care. He pulled out a box, not just any box, but a tiny black box that held a glittering diamond ring. A gasp rushed through the crowd like fire. "I've seen you here many times," Anderson began, his voice calm but loud enough for everyone to hear. "People walk past you, ignore you, mock you. But I see treasure in your eyes. I don't care where you sleep or what you wear. I care about what's in here." He pointed to her chest. Amara's lips trembled. Her body shivered. Was this a joke? A dream? "I know you've been through hell," he continued. "But I believe if you give me a chance, we can turn your story around. Let's live this life together. Amara, will you marry me?" The ring sparkled. The world paused. For a moment, Amara didn't move. The girl who was once her school's brightest student, now broken, homeless, and forgotten. But something in Anderson's eyes gave her a warmth she hadn't felt in so long. Hope. Tears fell. Slowly, she raised her trembling hand. The ring slid on, and Lagos exploded. Women screamed in confusion. "What? This man must be mad. Me, I am even more beautiful than her. See as she's dirty. Is this charms? He's a ritualist. Mark my words." But Anderson didn't look at them. He stood, helped Amara up like a queen, wrapped his arm around her, and led her to his Bentley. The car door shut. The engine roared. And as the Bentley rolled away, taking Amara into a new life, cameras still flashed, mouths still hung open, and Oshodi was never the same again. That night, Amara sat in a soft leather chair for the first time in a year, inside the most luxurious rehab center in Lagos. But as the nurse approached her with the first dose of her treatment plan, something deep inside her stirred a memory she'd buried. She sat up suddenly, gripped with panic. "Wait, I need to tell Anderson something. Something I've never told anyone before." Amara's heart pounded in her chest like thunder. The nurse's soft smile faded as she noticed the sudden panic in her patient's eyes. "Is everything all right, Miss Amara?" "No," Amara whispered, her voice dry and shaky. "Please, I need to speak to Anderson, right now." "Sir Anderson is currently traveling to Abuja for a business meeting," the nurse replied gently. "But don't worry, we can send him a message if it's urgent." Amara looked away, biting her trembling lip. That word, urgent, didn't even begin to explain it, because the moment she sat in that plush chair, wrapped in a warm robe, her belly full for the first time in months, the memory came crashing back. The one thing she had tried so hard to forget. Anderson didn't know everything. Nobody did. And if he ever found out, would he still want her? 1 year earlier. It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Amara had just graduated from secondary school first in her class. Her parents were so proud, they rushed to pick her up after the ceremony. Her mum had packed her favorite food, jollof rice and plantain. Her dad joked about making her a small cake, even though he didn't know how to bake. But they never made it home. That truck came out of nowhere. 1 second, her father was laughing. The next, blood was everywhere. Amara woke up on the hospital floor, screaming and confused. The doctors said it was a miracle she came out without a scratch. But her miracle became her curse. Her uncles and aunties didn't mourn. They accused. "She's a witch. She used her parents for rituals. Get out of that house before you kill us all." She was thrown out that same night, in her graduation gown. No slippers, no food, no one to defend her. She begged, screamed, but the gate was locked. Back to present. Amara, the nurse interrupted gently. Do you want to lie down? You've had a long day. Amara forced a nod and stood up. The hallway was quiet, air smelling like antiseptic and lavender. She walked past large glass windows, showing Lagos from above, a city that once swallowed her whole. But even as she laid on the soft mattress in her private room, her mind replayed that final memory she'd buried deepest. That night, under the bridge, just 3 weeks after she lost everything, something happened. She was desperate, starving, and close to madness. A man had tried to force himself on her. She fought. She screamed. She hit him with a rock and ran. She never looked back. She never saw his face again. But every time she closed her eyes, she remembered the blood on her hands. Meanwhile, across Lagos, Anderson sat alone in the back of his jet-black SUV, reading documents. His assistant, Desmond, glanced at him from the front seat. Sir, people still don't understand what you did this morning, he said. Anderson didn't look up. I don't need them to understand. I just need peace. But the board members are worried. They think you're losing your mind. Proposing to a homeless girl? Sir, some are planning to question your authority at the next meeting. Anderson chuckled. Let them try. When they see what Amara becomes in a month, they'll beg to shake her hand. Desmond said nothing. Anderson stared out the window. His gut told him he'd done the right thing. But somewhere deep in his heart, a little voice whispered, Are you sure you know who she really is? Back at the rehab center, a week passed. Amara changed. Her hair was trimmed and styled. She was given gentle therapy, nutritious food, and soft clothes that fit her body properly for the first time in months. Day by day, her true self returned. She read books, took walks in the garden, and stared at herself in the mirror sometimes for hours, trying to remember the girl she used to be. But still, she kept one thing hidden, the fear that if Anderson knew what happened that night under the bridge, he might think she was a murderer. That evening, the nurse walked into Amara's room with a phone in hand. Miss Amara, she said softly, you have a video call. Amara took the phone nervously. The screen blinked, and there he was, Anderson, looking tired, but smiling. Hi, Amara, he said gently. I just landed. I couldn't wait any longer. I need to tell you something. Something I haven't told anyone. Amara's chest tightened. She swallowed. What is it? She asked. Anderson sighed deeply and looked into the camera. Before I proposed to you, I ran a background check, and I found out something very strange. Something that connects your past to mine. Amara's heart nearly stopped. We've met before, Amara. Years ago. And I think you saved my life. Amara's hands shook as she held the phone. She could barely breathe. We've met before, Amara, Anderson repeated, eyes locked on hers through the screen. You don't remember, do you? Amara's mind raced, flipping through memories like pages in a burned book. How could she have forgotten someone like him? Anderson leaned forward on the call, his voice softer now. It was 4 years ago. I was stuck in traffic along 3rd Mainland Bridge. I had just started my company. Things weren't great yet. That day, I was going to end my life. Amara gasped. Her other hand clutched her chest. I parked my car dangerously close to the edge of the bridge. Nobody stopped. People passed by, honked, shouted. But then, you walked up to me. Amara blinked fast. Me? You were in your school uniform, Anderson said. You couldn't have been more than 14. You knocked on my window and asked, Are you okay, sir? You didn't leave until I rolled it down. You smiled and said, No matter how bad it is, something good can still happen tomorrow. Silence. Anderson's eyes watered. That sentence saved my life. 4 years ago, it was raining lightly. Young Amara, holding her school sandals in one hand, walked home because her parents had car trouble that day. Her uniform was soaked, her books inside a nylon bag. That was when she saw the man in the sleek car. His face was red. His hands trembled on the steering. She knew that look. Pain. She didn't think. She just stepped forward, knocked on the glass, and said the words that would echo years later. No matter how bad it is, something good can still happen tomorrow. Back on the call, Amara's lips trembled. I didn't know. Anderson smiled, pain dancing behind his eyes. I never forgot your face. That sentence lived with me through all my success. I searched for you once I became wealthy, but you vanished. Then I saw you, that day under the bridge. I looked nothing like that girl, Amara whispered, tears sliding down her cheek. But your eyes, Anderson said. Your eyes were the same. And I knew it was you. Amara dropped the phone gently on the bed. She sobbed into her hands. All this time, she thought she was worthless, broken, a nobody. But she had saved the man who had just saved her. The next morning, Amara stood in front of a full-length mirror at the rehab center. A nurse handed her a long, emerald green gown. The fabric was soft, luxurious, glowing under the lights. For Anderson's return, the nurse said with a warm smile, he'll be here by 10 By 9:45, Amara was ready. Her hair was styled in a smooth bun, her skin polished and glowing. For the first time in over a year, she looked and felt like someone who mattered. As the clock ticked toward 10, a sleek black Bentley pulled up outside. The driver opened the back door. Anderson stepped out. He froze. Amara stood at the entrance of the building, the sunlight behind her, the gown flowing like water around her legs. Her hands were clasped together, and her eyes glistened. Anderson dropped his briefcase. He took slow, stunned steps forward. You're glowing, he whispered. Amara knelt down slowly before him. I didn't know what you saw in me under that bridge, she said, voice shaking. But I promise I won't let you down. Anderson helped her up and pulled her into the warmest, longest hug of her life. She clung to him, trembling, crying, laughing all at once. But just as they were about to head inside, a tall, dark man in a cheap brown suit stepped out of a parked Toyota Camry near the gate. He watched them closely, hands shaking as he dialed a number. Yes, it's her, he whispered into the phone. The homeless girl who escaped, the one from the underbridge. She's here. A rough voice replied on the other end. Good, we found her. Tell the boss we'll finish what we started. The man ended the call and stepped into the car. Amara's past, the one she thought had ended, was about to catch up. And this time, it wouldn't just threaten her. It might destroy Anderson too. Anderson and Amara sat side by side in the back of the Bentley, the car gliding through Victoria Island's clean streets. Amara held his hand tightly, her fingers cold despite the AC being off. Her heart should have been at peace, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Something dark was coming, and she didn't even know what it was. Elsewhere, in a dark room in Mushin, the man in the brown suit, Musa, entered the room cautiously. 3 men sat around a battered table. At the center was Chief Otunba Kalajaye, a crooked business magnate known in the underground for his silent power. He took a slow drag of his cigar as Musa spoke. It's her, the same girl who escaped last year during the bridge raid, the one who injured Bashir with a rock. Chief Kalajaye narrowed his eyes. She's alive? She's not just alive, sir, Musa replied. She's with Anderson Okonkwo, the billionaire. A moment of silence. Then, Chief Kalajaye laughed bitterly. So the street rat we tried to recruit into our ring has now become the woman of Africa's richest bachelor? He stood up, knocking over his chair. She embarrassed us. She cost me men. And now, she's inside the walls of power? He paced, eyes burning with hate. Track her. Watch him. We strike when they're comfortable. And this time, no one leaves alive. Back in Banana Island, Anderson's mansion, Amara stepped out of the car and froze. The house. No. The palace. Towered before her like something out of a dream. Cream-white walls, tall glass windows, and perfectly trimmed palm trees lined the marble driveway. Water fountains danced in front. It was paradise. This is yours? She whispered. Ours, Anderson corrected gently, helping her out. Every staff member, from cleaners to cooks to drivers, lined up respectfully. Amara felt overwhelmed. Their eyes stared, some full of curiosity, some with judgment, but she didn't flinch. She remembered the gutter, the cold, the stench under the bridge. She had earned this moment. Later that night, Anderson opened a chilled bottle of champagne in the dining room. They laughed, ate seafood, pasta, and suya, and danced barefoot on the marble floor. Amara, in a soft silk robe, felt human again. Then Anderson's phone pinged. He picked it up casually, but as he read the message, his smile faded. "What's wrong?" Amara asked. Anderson showed her the screen. Union Global approved ONEB contract. Signing set for tomorrow. Amara's eyes widened. "You got the contract?" Anderson stared at the screen in disbelief. "I've been chasing this deal for 2 years. They always turned me down. But tonight, just like that." He looked at her. He already knew. Amara was the turning point. Later, that night, while Anderson took a call upstairs, Amara stepped into the garden, enjoying the soft breeze under the moonlight. She leaned on the railing, smiling at the stars. Then she heard it, a click behind her. She turned and froze. Musa stood in the shadows, a wicked grin on his face. "Hello again, Amara," he said. She took a step back. No, it can't be. You thought we forgot, didn't you? That night under the bridge, when you cracked Bashir's skull, you ran like a ghost and vanished." She backed into the glass door, trying to open it, but it was locked. Musa pulled something from his coat, a pocket knife. "Don't scream. We're not here for noise. Just a quick reminder that we're watching. You belong to us." Amara opened her mouth to shout, but Musa grabbed her by the neck. "You ruined everything," he hissed. "But now that you've climbed so high, we'll enjoy watching you fall harder." Suddenly, crack, a wine bottle smashed over Musa's head. He staggered, groaned, and collapsed. Behind him stood Angela, Anderson's personal bodyguard, a tall, muscular woman in all black. "You picked the wrong house, rat," she muttered, stepping over him. Amara gasped for air, shaking uncontrollably. Angela helped her up. "Are you okay?" Amara nodded weakly. How did you?" "I never take my eyes off my boss's home," Angela replied calmly. "And now that I know what's after you, I'm not leaving yours either." That night, Anderson sat at the edge of Amara's bed, holding her hand. "You're not safe anymore," he said softly. "I'm sorry," Amara whispered, tears in her eyes. "I should have told you earlier. They tried to take me before. I escaped. I thought it was over." Anderson's jaw tightened. "I have the power. I have the money. And now I have a reason. They don't know what they've just started." Amara blinked. "What are you going to do?" Anderson stood up slowly and looked out the window. "I'm going to burn everything they've built, one brick at a time." But what neither of them knew was that Chief Kalajayi had already set a deadly trap, and the next strike wouldn't be a warning. It would be war. Amara woke up in Anderson's arms, her head resting on his chest. Outside, Lagos moved like normal, but inside Anderson's mansion, war was brewing. Chief Kalajayi had made his move. That morning, Anderson received a chilling video message. It showed one of his warehouses in Ikorodu up in flames. Then a voice followed. "Leave the girl, or we burn everything you love." Anderson's face was cold. He forwarded the video to a private military unit he had on standby and made one call. "Pull every file on Kalajayi. Freeze his accounts. Shut down his companies, and make sure the EFCC knocks on his door before sunset." By afternoon, news broke online. Billionaire Anderson Okonkwo declares war on criminal empire linked to human trafficking. Every major channel carried the headline. The world now knew what Kalajayi had been hiding, and Amara was no longer a silent victim. She became a symbol. Anderson stood beside her at the press conference, his arm firmly around her waist. "She was thrown away by society," Anderson said. "But she is not trash. She is brilliance, strength, and truth, and I will protect her with my life." The crowd clapped, cameras flashed. But Kalajayi wasn't done. That night, as they drove home, Another car blocked their convoy on 3rd Mainland Bridge. 3 masked men jumped out. Gunfire erupted. Anderson's guards returned fire instantly. Angela pulled Amara down in the back seat and shielded her with her body. 10 seconds later, it was over. The attackers were down, and sirens filled the air. Kalajai's attempt had failed. And with Anderson's evidence, backed by the governor and federal security forces, he was arrested that same night. Days passed. Calm returned. Anderson finally proposed again, this time in front of friends, family, and the media. Amara wore a silver dress, glowing like royalty. She said yes again, and this time she wasn't trembling under a bridge, but standing tall in grace and power. Their wedding was grand. Governors, senators, and top CEOs filled the hall. Amara walked down the aisle to thunderous applause, and in the front row, her wicked uncles and aunties sat silently, not invited, but watching from outside the gate, hoping for scraps. After the wedding, they tried to reach her, crying, begging. "We didn't mean it, Amara. We were confused. We're your family." Amara looked at them through the tinted window of her Rolls-Royce. "I forgive you," she said softly, "but I will never go back to darkness. Not again." The window rolled up. The car drove off. And beside her, Anderson smiled because he knew. He didn't just save Amara. She was the blessing that saved him first. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.